Howdy, hello, and welcome to our podcast episode number 107, the ultimate road trip survival adventure amidst a zombie apocalypse. I'm Thomas and I am here with my old friend Timothy. Today we are going to discuss a film called Zombieland. We are both very excited that you, dear viewer, could join our film night.
Zombieland is a 2009 American post-apocalyptic zombie comedy film directed by Ruben Fleischer and written by Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick. It stars Woody Harrelson, Jesse Eisenberg, Emma Stone, Abigail Breslin, and Bill Murray in the film Tallahassee, Columbus, Wichita, and Little Rock make their way on an extended cross-country road trip to find a sanctuary free from zombies. And Tom, did you enjoy Zombieland?
Well, Timmy, old chap, I found it to be quite all right. It was entertaining enough for a zombie flick. But I do have some issues with it. First of all, why did they need to include that Bill Murray scene? It just felt like it was thrown in there for the sake of having a famous face in the film.
Oh, now, Tom dearest, you can't deny that the Bill Murray cameo was hilarious. It was a nice little nod to his classic role in Lost in Translation. Besides, the film needed some comedic relief considering how bleak and grim the world they portrayed was.
Bleak? Grim? Tim, dear, have you seen any post-apocalyptic films before? This world is like Disneyland compared to those. Anyway, moving on, I thought the characters were rather underdeveloped. We get a brief backstory for Columbus and Tallahassee, but what about Wichita and Little Rock? They're just there to cause trouble and then conveniently join the group halfway through.
Well, Tom dearest, we can't have every character in a film go through a 3-hour-long backstory now, can we? Besides, it was supposed to be a zombie comedy, not a Shakespearean tragedy. And as for Wichita and Little Rock, their motives became clear later on in the movie. They were just trying to survive too, albeit by somewhat questionable means.
Sigh, fine, Timothy, fine. But I still stand by my opinion that Zombieland could have been so much better if they had spent a bit more time fleshing out the characters and their motivations, rather than focusing solely on the zombie-slaying antics. Now, since we have discussed our initial thoughts, Timothy dearest, I would like to ask you something about the plot of Zombieland. In the film, why did Tallahassee want to find his beloved puppy Buck so badly?
Well, Tom dearest, Tallahassee's relationship with his puppy Buck was a major source of emotional depth for the otherwise stoic character. You see, Buck was not just a pet, but a symbol of the normalcy and happiness that Tallahassee had lost in this post-apocalyptic world. The search for Buck becomes a metaphorical journey for Tallahassee to rediscover his own humanity and find reasons to keep fighting against all odds. And when he ultimately learns that his beloved dog didn't survive, it serves as a devastating yet cathartic moment of closure, allowing him to move forward with a renewed sense of purpose alongside Columbus, Wichita, and Little Rock. So while the search for Buck may have seemed like an insignificant side quest at first glance, in reality, it played a pivotal role in shaping Tallahassee's character arc and adding layers of depth to the overall storyline.
Oh, really? That's quite touching, Timothy dearest. I didn't see it that way when I first watched the film. So tell me, Tim, what is your favorite scene from Zombieland? Mine has to be the one where Tallahassee and Columbus are fighting off hordes of zombies while Wichita and Little Rock try to steal their weapons. It was just so action-packed and filled with humor that I couldn't help but laugh out loud.
Oh, Tom, old chap, you do have a fondness for the more chaotic scenes, don't you? While that scene was indeed thrilling and well executed, my personal favorite moment from Zombieland is when Tallahassee finally confronts his past at Bill Murray's house. The emotional weight of losing his son, Buck, who had been infected and turned into a zombie, finally catches up with him, and he unleashes his pent-up frustration on a dummy dressed as a zombie. It was a powerful scene that showcased the depths of Tallahassee's pain and the catharsis he experiences after channeling it into something productive. And who can forget the prank they pulled on poor Columbus? I still chuckle thinking about it.
Ah, yes. I remember that scene now, Timothy, dearest. It was quite a shocking twist, wasn't it? So tell me, what do you think about the film's use of practical effects versus CG in creating the zombies? They certainly looked convincingly realistic.
Well, Tom Oldchap, Zombieland, opted for a mix of practical effects and CG to create their zombie horde. Makeup artist Eileen Connolly-Morgan and her team worked tirelessly to design prosthetic makeup and practical effects for the zombies' wounds, decay, and even some gruesome injuries. Meanwhile, the more complex scenes or wide shots utilized CG to enhance the overall impact of the zombie invasion. The film's use of both practical effects and CG seamlessly blended together to create a believable post-apocalyptic world where the line between human and zombie is often blurred, adding to the film's overall grim and gritty appeal.
I must admit, Timothy, dearest, that they did an impressive job with the visual effects. Now, let us move on to our final topic for tonight's episode. In Zombieland, there is a famous line delivered by Tallahassee where he says, "I don't carry a gun. I am one." What do you think this line symbolizes beyond just the literal meaning of him being a walking weapon?
Oh, Tom, dearest, that line is quite loaded with meaning, isn't it? On surface level, Tallahassee's statement highlights his survival instincts and the necessity of adapting to harsh realities. But if we delve deeper, his declaration could also be interpreted as a commentary on the nature of identity itself. In this post-apocalyptic world where society has collapsed boundaries between human and animal, civilization and savagery have blurred, Tallahassee's self-identification with his weaponry reflects how individuals like him may be forced to redefine who they are based on their survival skills rather than their past roles or relationships. It's a chilling reminder that when faced with extinction, we often become what is required of us, regardless of the moral implications.
A captivating analysis, Tim, dearest, and a fitting conclusion to our discussion tonight. Now, before we wrap up today's episode, I have one final question for you. What do you think was the most significant lesson that we can take away from Zombieland?
Well, Tom, dearest, there are several valuable lessons we can extract from Zombieland, but if forced to choose one, it would be the importance of forming meaningful connections and building strong communities. Throughout the film, we witness how the unlikely duo of Tallahassee and Columbus, along with Wichita and Little Rock, learn to trust each other and work together despite their initial hesitations and disagreements. Their ability to adapt and evolve as a team is what ultimately allows them to survive the apocalypse and find some semblance of hope in this bleak new world. So, my dear Tom, what do you think we should discuss tomorrow? Shall it be another zombie flick, or perhaps we delve into the realm of vampire films?
Ah, Tim, dearest, you always know how to pick my favorite topics, don't you? I think we should definitely explore the world of vampire films next. There's been a resurgence in popularity for these blood-sucking creatures recently, with shows like The Vampire Diaries and movies such as Twilight. But before we delve into the world of sparkly vampires, let's return to Zombieland for just one more moment. I must say that the use of color in this film was quite striking, don't you think? The director, Ruben Fleischer, and the cinematographer, Barry A. Burkhoff, employed a rather unique color palette throughout the movie. They mainly used cool tones like greens, blues, and grays, which create a cold, sterile, and even claustrophobic atmosphere that perfectly mirrors the bleak post-apocalyptic world the characters inhabit. However, they also strategically incorporated splashes of warm colors like yellows and reds to draw attention to crucial elements in the frame, such as gas station pumps or blood spattered on walls. This contrast between coldness and warmth not only enhances the visual appeal of the film, but also subtly highlights the theme of survival and humanity's fight against extinction. So, what do you think, Tim, dearest? Did you notice anything else about the color scheme in Zombieland that I might have missed?
Yes, Tom, dearest, I couldn't help but notice the brilliant casting choices made for Zombieland. Woody Harrelson brings an unmistakable charisma and grit to his portrayal of Tallahassee. His character's journey from a seemingly cold-hearted survivor to a reluctant protector of the group is expertly captured by Harrelson's nuanced performance. And who could forget Jesse Eisenberg as Columbus, the socially awkward and rule-obsessed protagonist whose world is turned upside down by the apocalypse? Eisenberg masterfully balances the character's geeky charm with unexpected resilience and bravery. Abigail Breslin shines as the street-smart con artist, Wichita, who initially appears to be driven solely by self-preservation, but ultimately reveals a deeper sense of loyalty towards her sister and the group. And then there's Emma Stone's portrayal of the troubled yet resourceful con artist Little Rock. Stone effortlessly captures the character's vulnerability and resilience as she navigates through the chaotic post-apocalyptic landscape. Their chemistry on screen is tangible, especially in scenes where they clash and eventually find common ground. The banter between Tallahassee and Columbus, the sibling rivalry, turned camaraderie between Wichita and Little Rock, and even the subtle hints of romantic tension between Columbus and Wichita all contribute to the film's emotional depth and believability. In conclusion, Tim Dearest, I must admit that the cast of Zombieland truly elevated the movie from being just another zombie flick to a modern classic that stands the test of time.
Well, said Tim Dearest, I must admit that the casting choices for Zombieland were indeed spot on. Now, let's shift our focus to how Zombieland has influenced other films and television series over the years. The success of Zombieland paved the way for a new wave of zombie-themed entertainment, with many shows and movies borrowing from its unique blend of humor, action, and survival horror. For example, the popular Amidst series The Walking Dead, which premiered just 2 years after Zombieland's release, took inspiration from the movie's post-apocalyptic setting, strong characters, and focus on human relationships in a zombie-infested world. Other shows, such as Fear the Walking Dead, The Last of Us, and even the recently released Netflix series Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead, have also drawn inspiration from Zombieland's formula. In terms of movies, there's no denying that films like World War Z, 28 Days Later, and even the recent zombie apocalypse, rom-com Zombieland, double tap owe a debt to Zombieland's inventive approach to the zombie genre. But perhaps one of the most significant ways in which Zombieland has left its mark on pop culture is through its influence on video games. The success of the film led to the development of the popular video game adaptation Zombieland. The game, which was released for multiple platforms, including PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and Nintendo D. The game's mix of action, humor, and survival elements closely mirrors those found in the film, further solidifying Zombieland's place as a key player in revitalizing the zombie genre in both cinema and gaming alike. So, Tim Dearest, what do you think about the lasting impact that Zombieland has had on the entertainment industry? Are there any other films or TV shows that come to mind that have been influenced by this classic zombie flick?
Oh, wonders, Tom Dearest. You always manage to stir up my memory bank. As for other films or TV shows that have been influenced by Zombieland, I would be remiss not to mention the horror comedy flick Zombieland. While not directly connected to Ruben Fleischer's masterpiece, it shares a similar post-apocalyptic setting and tongue-in-cheek approach to zombies. As for television shows, I think it's safe to say that nearly every zombie-themed series that followed, in the wake of The Walking Dead, owes a debt to Zombieland's formula of gritty survival mixed with moments of levity and character development. In conclusion, dearest Tom, Zombieland is more than just another zombie flick. It's a modern classic that continues to resonate with audiences across generations. Its clever writing, pitch, perfect casting, and unapologetic mix of horror and humor have made it an enduring cult favorite, influencing countless films, TV shows, and even video games alike. So please Dearest viewers, don't hesitate to comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this video with your friends and family members who might also be fans of the zombie genre or simply appreciate a good laugh in even the darkest of times. Until next time, dearest Tom, farewell for now.